Okay, Luke, it says we're live.
All righty. 1 second. All right, I will go ahead and call the meeting to order. You may notice that the agenda is slightly different, the first couple of items. Since we adopted our rules of decorum, and which included Robert's Rules of Order, I thought we'd go ahead and kind of change up the agenda just a little bit at the beginning. So the first item on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Does anyone have anything they want to add to it? Wait, Earl is calling me. Hold on. Hold on, I gotta send the information to Erla. She's having trouble getting on too.
Oh, goodness.
Let's see. Well, maybe. Okay, went ahead and sent you that. Okay, well, while Earl gets on, we can go ahead and take care of this. So does anyone have any adoption or any additions to the agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I'll do a roll call vote. Ballmeister,
Aye.
Bolin,
Aye.
Achin, David.
David?
I can't hear you. Oh, you're kind of lagging a little bit, by the way. Were you I? Okay.
I'm gonna stop the video.
Okay. Are you an I vote?
Aye.
Fulkerson?
Aye.
Malone?
Aye.
I will vote aye as well. And Williams? Earl is not on here yet. Okay. So motion carries 6-0. All right. Next agenda is the approval of the minutes from the February 12th, 2021 meeting. Those were sent out in advance. So does anyone have any corrections or additions to the minutes from that meeting? If not, the minutes are adopted as presented. Okay, item number 3 is comments from the public. Pam, did we have anyone from the public ask to speak?
Yes. Well, no, I've got Randy on, so no, I did not get any calls for other comments.
Okay.
Like.
All right, so we will skip over comments from the public. All right, item number 4 on the agenda is transfers from the supplemental adult probation in the supplemental adult probation fund. It's $500 from travel to computer equipment, and that is within the Perry County Circuit Court budget.
I make a motion to allow it.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? I don't have I can't find that sheet that I have with it, but I think, was this for the computer monitors maybe?
This was for 2 computers that they need.
Oh, 2 computers. Okay. All right. Oh yeah, there it is. What? Okay. Yeah, there it is. Okay. I've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? No, I'll take a roll call vote. Ballmeister,
Aye.
Bolin,
Aye.
Achin,
Aye.
Fulkerson,
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye as well. And Williams.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Next transfer we have is within the pretrial diversion fund from travel, $891.38 to bonus pay for $750, Social Security for $57.38, and to retirement for $84. And that is within the Perry County prosecutor's budget. I'd entertain a motion to approve the transfer.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Is this one that we missed?
I don't
No,
think,
it's one of the
Nope.
grant positions.
Yeah, we had Pam send out a memo about grant positions are eligible for that as well.
So it wasn't missed, it was just the grant.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. If there's no more discussion, I will take a roll call vote. Baumeister,
Aye.
Bolin,
Aye.
Aichen,
Aye.
Fulkerson,
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye as well, and Williams.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. All right. Next on the agenda is additional appropriations. This is within the county general fund and the Perry County Commissioner's budget. $1,235.40 for overtime wages, $94.51 for Social Security, $138.38 for retirement. And I guess we should do those separately. Yeah. Or should we do those all together, Pam?
What do you mean?
Well, on my agenda, that it's all together. The distribution of timber sales is together. Or should they be separated?
They should be separated.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll do the overtime wages, Social Security, and retirement.
I
And
make a
that
motion.
is the overtime from January 31st to February 27th.
For which department? For the health department?
Yeah, this is the health department.
No, this is out of the commissioners in county general.
Well, it's for the
For the
health
health.
department overtime, right?
Yes, but it's,
Yeah.
this is to pay one employee from that, so we could use that leftover $1,500 yet from the CARES Act.
Right. Okay.
That's what this is for.
I make a motion to approve that.
Do I have a second?
I'll
A
second.
second.
Yeah.
All right. I will take. Is there any other discussion on this? No, I'll take a roll call vote. Baumeister,
Aye.
Bolin,
Aye.
Aichen,
Aye.
Fulkerson,
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye as well, and Williams.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0 to approve the additional appropriation. The next one is also within the county general fund and the Perry County Commissioner's budget. Distribution of timber sales, a whole $78.33. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Why you guys do that at the same time?
Yeah.
Who's, yeah, who was it?
I think I first it and Danny seconded it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sure.
I'll second it, yes.
Is there
Okay.
any discussion on this item? If not, I will take a roll
A lot of
call.
money.
Yeah, a lot of money. So, yeah, a whole half of, yeah, not that much, but Baumeister,
Aye.
Bolin,
Aye.
Aichen,
Aye.
Fulkerson,
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye as well, and Williams.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0 to approve the additional appropriation of $78.33. All right, next we have in the Lit Economic Development Fund and the Perry County Commissioner's budget, $228,615 for the PCDC contract. This is a fee-for-service contract, 20% of our edit funds, and the total amount shall not exceed that $228,000.
We
I'll
do,
make that motion.
yeah, we do this every year, part of it.
Yes.
Yes, it's part of the Commissioner's edit plan.
I'll second that motion.
Do we have any discussion on this? Did I see Aaron one here earlier, maybe? Or am I crazy?
Was,
Okay.
I don't know where she went though.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see her on here. So if is there any discussion on this? If not, I will take a roll call. Baumeister,
Aye.
Bolin,
Aye.
Aichen,
Aye.
Fulkerson,
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye as well, and Williams.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0 to approve the $228,615. All right, next item on the agenda is the sales disclosure fund within the Perry County Assessor's
You have
budget.
There was another lit
Oh,
one.
wait, there sure is. County road improvements and the Perry County Highway under the lit fund, the Economic Development Fund, for $900,000.
Make a motion, we allow it.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Steve, are you on here?
Yes, I am.
What is this for? Is this your 50% of the edit funds?
Yes, that's what
Okay.
it is, and we use it for our part of it for community crossings match.
Okay.
If we get that, and if we don't get that, it's what we have to pave with.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, I've got a motion and a second. I will take a roll call vote if there's no more discussion on this. Ballmeister.
Aye.
Bolin.
Aye.
Aichen.
Aye.
Fulkerson.
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye as well. And Williams.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0 to approve the $900,000 in additional appropriation. Okay, now we have the sales disclosure fund, Perry County Assessor's budget, $2,000 for office equipment. Mindy, you're here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is for, we currently have 2 printers in our office that were purchased in 2007. We had Who's Her Business come in to clean them while he was there. One needs $1,100 worth of repairs and the other one needs $800 worth of repairs. We kind of talked about it in the office and really felt like we could probably get by with 1 instead of 2. So I had Who's Her Business quote us a price for a new one for $3,295 with a $250 annual maintenance on that. So I would like to take money from the sales disclosure fund and the remaining balance from the property reassessment fund.
Gotcha. I would entertain a motion on this.
I'll make that
Motion, we
motion.
allow it.
Paul, do you want a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Paul,
Or-
give me the
or
second.
Whatever.
David, I think David had it first. I can never tell. We're gonna start raising hands. Is there any discussion amongst the members? If not, I'll take a roll call vote. Ballmeister,
Aye.
Bolin,
Aye.
Aichen,
Aye.
Fulkerson,
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye as well, and Williams.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0 to approve the additional.
Thank you.
Yep. I just want everyone to know that I have to write your last names down and read this every time we take a vote because I still don't remember. Next we have Cumulative Bridge Fund, Perry County Highway budget, $74,150 for bridge number 135.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Do I have a second? And this is just a replacement of bridge at Gerald Crossroads, right, Steve?
Yes, that's the next one on the list that they said need to be replaced.
Gotcha. All righty. I've got a motion and a second. So is there any discussion amongst council members? If not, I will take a roll call vote. Ballmeister,
Aye.
Bolin,
Aye.
Aichen,
Aye.
Fulkerson,
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye as well, and Williams.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks, Steve. Next, we have the health fund. Within the Perry County Health budget, we have $10,000 in overtime wages, $765 in Social Security, and $1,120 in retirement. And this is the extra we set aside to hopefully get us through the end of the year.
Yes, and I can tell you that we've got the first 2 weeks from this, from February 28th to March 13th. And totally with the 5 of them, they're only using $1,202. So right now there's going to be $8,797 left of the $10,000. So this is for 2 weeks.
That's not too bad, I guess.
No, because the hours were only like 6 and a
Yeah.
half, 5.
Yeah, a lot better than we were, thankfully. I will entertain a motion on this.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
I got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion amongst us? If not, I'll take a roll call vote. Ballmeister,
Aye.
Bolin,
Aye.
Aichen,
Aye.
Fulkerson,
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye as well, and Williams.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Next, within the health fund, again, the Perry County Health budget, we have $1,382.64 in overtime wages, $105.79 for Social Security, and $154.37 in retirement. And this is to pay for overtime from January 31st to February 27th.
For the other 2 employees.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do we have any discussion? If not, I will take a roll call vote. Ballmeister,
Aye.
Bolin,
Aye.
Aichen,
Aye.
Fulkerson,
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye as well, and Williams.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. All righty, we're just moving right along. Let's see here. Next, we have in the Property Reassessment Fund, Perry County Assessor budget, $1,545, and this is the other part of that printer purchase. I would entertain a motion on this.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right, got a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? If not, I will take a roll call vote. Ballmeister,
Aye.
Bolin,
Aye.
Aichen,
Aye.
Fulkerson,
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye as well, and Williams.
Aye.
All righty, motion carries 7-0. All right, is that it? Yes, okay. Next on the agenda is the job classification and compensation study from WIS Consultants. And I believe Kent is here. Kent Irwin, President.
Yep, I am here.
All right, Kent. So I reached out to Kent to discuss a compensation study for the county because at that time, I'd feared that we wouldn't be able to give raises, and we still don't know that for this next year, and that'd be 2 years without a raise. So just kind of wanting to put together a plan to utilize for the future on how we can give raises to our employees and see where our employees are. Are they making too little, perhaps too much? Just seeing where they are compared to other counties. And we needed to update the job descriptions, which hasn't been done since 2009, I believe. So that's probably overdue for that. So can you talk a little bit about what exactly that process is?
Yes, and I can say over the years, our firm has worked with over 70 Indiana counties in developing job classification compensation systems. We've worked with Perry County for a good number of years, and not only doing the job classifications, but also on your personnel policies and advising county officials on the administration of those policies. So our firm has a bit of a history with Perry County and Tell City as well. We've worked with the city government well over 20 years and have currently been engaged to update their policies and procedures. And they're looking at a project very similar to yours in terms of updating job descriptions, looking at classifications and setting new compensation schedules. As background, the job classification system that our firm has used, which is not proprietary to us or any other consultant or any company, it's called the Factor Evaluation System Job Classification. It was developed by the Department of Labor. The Department of Labor developed this system for public sector employers. And way back when Governor Bowen was our governor, he brought the system to Indiana. It was installed at the state level for the some 38,000 workers that work in state government. It's still in place today. It has been updated. It has been modified. It has been continuously used by every administration since the Bowen administration. And I can say that as a consulting firm, we've worked with different governors in making sure that the system is current and some of the modifications they've made respective of how jobs are classified. Most county governments, most city governments, a good number of school corporations have likewise adopted the use of this system because of its comparability, particularly here in Indiana. The job classification itself separates jobs into job categories. There's 4 main job categories. And I think I'd sent a handout that described that in much more detail than I probably can right now. But those 4 categories are PAT, Comet, POL, LTC. PAT, professional, administrative, and technological jobs. The Comet are computerized office machine workers, technician positions. The POL jobs, protective occupations and law enforcement, and the labor, trades, and craft jobs are those jobs that are principally in your highway department, maintenance workers. You may have custodians that work in different buildings throughout the county, but that labor, trades, craft group is a standalone group, mainly with your highway workers. The protective occupations in county government is really focused on the sheriff's department, the merit police officers, the corrections officers that work in the jail, and other emergency service workers. Now, the PAT Comet group are those workers that are working in the courthouse and various offices in positions where either they're department heads directing operations or they're in support positions. So these 4 job categories set the stage for classifying jobs. So we're only, when you get to the point where you're looking at pay schedules, you're only comparing like jobs with one another. So you cannot, in this system, compare the truck driver job to the deputy clerk in the assessor's office. They're in different job categories. So as you work through the process, the job descriptions have a set of what they call guide charts that are formatted around that job category. So each job description is designed to cover those items that are in the category as far as the factors are concerned. So as you classify jobs and you look at compensation, this is done in a building block process where the first piece is to make sure that the job descriptions are accurate and reliable, they're up to date, and they're current for use in setting compensation schedules. So the first phase of a project would be the updating of the descriptions. The second phase would then move into the actual factoring of jobs using the factor evaluation system. There's a point system to use to point factor positions and then collect salary information, principally from other public employers and of comparable size to Perry County and to where you're recruiting your positions. So you can have a comparative analysis of where your wages are in comparison to the external market. So those are the 2 major phases of the project that we have put down in an offer of services to separate this and talking to Luke and looking at a way to do this over a 2-year period, where this year you would get all the job descriptions updated and signed off on by your elected officials. And then in the second year, look at the compensation piece, which is in phase 2. But I can't overemphasize the importance of having the descriptions updated first, because if you jump to, for lack of a better term, tinkering with the salary schedules without going through that process of engaging the elected officials and employees and making sure that we are accurately describing those jobs, that if you were to skip that and try to go directly to adjustments to the salary schedules, there's a good likelihood you're going to get pushback. You're going to get comments such as, these aren't accurate, they didn't look at my jobs, these job titles don't match up. So the first phase is an important one to make sure that the job descriptions are accurate, they are reliable. Now, we did update those descriptions back in 2009. Some may have been changed or updated if they were going to be used for a fitness for duty evaluation or family and medical leave issue, but otherwise, the descriptions haven't really been touched across the board in a single project since that time. But they would serve as a valuable tool to begin that process and have a discussion with the elected officials about the job descriptions that they have, using questionnaires to verify information, and using new job questionnaires if there have been jobs that have been added to the system that we currently don't have on file. So that would be the first phase. The second phase, obviously, is one of more data collection and putting together an analysis of your positions respective of the external market. So that's kind of a nutshell description of what the job classification study would look like in doing it in two phases.
Gotcha. It says your offer of services said that fees will be billed on an hourly basis plus expenses. It is estimated that fees to complete phase one will be $14,420 and take 4 to 5 months. And then phase two, $14,640 and 4 to 5 months as well. So that is the fees over the 2 years. First year, $14,000, and second year, a little over that. Anyone have any questions for Kent? No? Oh. Like I said, I reached out. I thought this was a good idea because, you know, we've never really, since I've been on the council, we've never had a certain way of giving raises. We just said, oh, we'll just pull out this number and see what we can do. And I know some job descriptions have changed, but the salary maybe hasn't changed in a couple of positions. So, I mean, I just feel like there's some things we need to clean up, and it'd be nice to have a system in place for the future, you know, that we can continually update and use to give raises in the future as well.
But a couple of other points I think be of interest. One is as a part of the project, we look at the Fair Labor Standards Act to make sure that we have the jobs properly classified as exempt and non-exempt for overtime purposes. And this is also linked to your personnel policy so that we're treating those jobs properly, respective of the wage and hour rules that are a part of the FLSA, which have changed from time to time. And we're expecting, and I think most other people who work in the area are expecting, much more aggressive labor department under the new administration than what we have seen in the previous years. So job descriptions become an integral part of how you make that evaluation as whether or not a job is exempt or non-exempt. I think secondly, we provided you with a list of some other Indiana counties and contact people where we've done similar projects, several there in southern Indiana, and have worked with a number of councils, commissioners, auditors in updating and revising their classification system. So yours hasn't been touched for a while. I think having it done all at one time provides you with a foundation for having a new system, but also having job descriptions that are not only used for developing pay schedules, but are also there for use in department heads hiring new employees, to evaluate performance, to make sure that if we have to send someone for a fitness for duty evaluation under the FLSA or FMLA, that we have a description that has a current date on it. I recall some years ago, a circuit court judge said, I need to have an evaluation, but I don't want to send this job description. It's 8 years old, even though much of the content was still the same. We don't want to get into a debate over whether or not everything in a job description is current when it's reflecting a date that's 10 years old. So I think all in all, this is part of a larger network of uses other than just setting pay that these job descriptions do provide.
Yeah, it's a tool, really. I mean, that can be used in the future, and yeah, I agree.
So Kent, this is Pam. So where we've actually got some job descriptions where we've had the council or commissioners to approve over the years with the new positions, and I have them on record. Will those help you along with all the new positions that they have set? Did that make sense?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Well, I said the council and the commissioners over the years for any new positions, we have got some job descriptions for those.
Oh,
So we're
okay.
gonna have those on file. Will those help you out on all the new ones that you don't have?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we would gather everything you had.
Okay.
And I think too, it's important. We will have contact with the department heads and the elected officials to make sure that we've got things matched up.
Okay.
So that the job title that's used on a job description is also the job title that's used in your budgets. It's also
Yes.
the same job title that is used on your salary ordinance. So everybody is in sync in terms of what we're calling a job, but sometimes that they get out of sync. Oftentimes, where we call that's Linda's job, and it's really there's a job title, and it's not. We often think of jobs in terms of the employee who holds the job as opposed to the title.
Okay. Good.
And I would say I would propose paying for this either from probably the Riverboat Fund. It's kind of my first thought is the Riverboat Fund for this. It just makes most sense to me. But does anyone have any questions for Kent? Does anyone have any discussion on this?
What was the cost again? 14,000?
Yeah, the first phase is $14,420, expected to be completed in 4 to 5 months.
And then the second phase?
The second phase is
Also 14?
14,640, 4 to 5 months. Originally, he had sent this as a single, doing all this in the year. And I thought it'd be better on us budget-wise to split it up over 2 years, just kind of make it easier.
Yes, and remember, we don't get Riverboat money until August, so that would work really good.
Yeah.
So are you looking for a motion of intent tonight, or?
I would entertain a motion of intent to go with this, and we could put it on the next agenda for an additional, and then Rod could look over the letter of engagement just to make sure it's all good, and then we could formally approve it at our next meeting.
Do you just need the motion of intent for the first phase or both?
Yes, we could do the motion of intent for the first phase.
I will do that. I'll make a motion.
Motion of intent to finance or pay for the first phase.
I'll second.
All right, I got a first and a second. Is there any discussion on this amongst us? All right, I'll take a roll call vote then. Ballmeister,
Aye.
Bolin, Achen,
Aye.
Fulkerson,
Aye.
Malone,
Aye.
I will vote aye as well. And Williams.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0 to approve a motion of intent to pay for the phase 1 of this project. Kent, thank you. We'll get this sent off to Rod to take a look at it to make sure it's all good. And
Very
then
good.
we'll get that sent up to you. Okay.
Very good.
All right. Thank you, Kent, so
Look
much.
forward to meeting, look forward to meeting with people in person.
In person. All
Thank
right,
you.
Thanks, Kent. All righty. Next on the agenda is scheduling of a special meeting for the public hearing and approval of TIF 3 bond proposal. The redevelopment commission has not met to approve this bond yet. So I think the meeting is scheduled for April 12th. So I feel like we should not touch this until the redevelopment commission does. So depending what happens at their April 12th meeting, we'll have to call a special meeting to take care of this depending on what happens, because we need to meet before April 22nd. So we'll have a short time frame to meet, but I didn't realize that the redevelopment commission hadn't acted on this yet. And I feel like they should definitely do it before we approve it. So.
And they will be meeting on the 12th.
Yes. So I guess just be aware of that. If that gets approved by the redevelopment commission, we're going to need to schedule a special session, but sometime between April 12th and April 22nd. Just kind of be aware of that. And we'd have to, Pam, does a public hearing have to be advertised 10 days prior? Am I crazy for thinking that? Or is it just the regular 48?
Sorry, I'm sitting here talking and you can't hear me. No, I think you're right, Luke. I think it has to be 10 days and not 48 hours.
Yeah. So as soon as that's going to be cutting it close, but
Maybe too close.
actually, I don't know if that's going to work or not.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel comfortable. I mean, it doesn't make sense for us to approve and have a public hearing if the redevelopment commission hasn't decided on it first. So
No.
I think the 12th is a tentative date. I don't think it's set in stone yet. It probably will be.
all right. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with that, because I don't want to overstep our boundaries. All righty. So just be prepared for that. All right. Next on the agenda, motion of intent to fund the Perry County Detention Center Jail Commander training. And the sheriff and the chief deputy are here. Do you guys want to kind of take over first and then we can discuss?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to congratulate David Falkenberg. He has announced his intent to retire. I will say that I've been with David for probably 30 years of my career, and it's going to be very, very hard to replace him. He's got a career that not many people can touch. So I want to say that we're going to have to replace him sometime soon, which is probably in May. So what we're going to do is be asking for an intent to ask for some funds to help us out with this. We're going to ask for 10 weeks. We're going to have to appoint a new commander. And again, this is going to be a very, very hard thing to do. This is one of the most important appointment I can make, and I don't take it lightly. And at this time, I would like to see if you guys would give me the permission to go ahead with that. Again, David has said he would stay on until we get the next person somewhat trained. But again, this is a very, very hard position to replace. So therefore, I know that we asked for $8,647.50. And what's that going to do is pay salary, taxes, and things like insurance. So therefore, this is what we're asking this, and I don't like to ask for it, but I really don't have a choice in this at this time. and I get quiet.
Sorry, I was writing
I
something
have a
down.
question, Alan. You and I spoke last night, and one of the questions I forgot to ask was, is it still mandatory that the jail commander attend a class, a training class at the academy? Do they still do that?
Everybody that we hire in the jail that we like to send them to what they call the jail school. So that's a week, yes.
Okay, so there's no more extensive training for the jail commander than
Well,
that?
there's training we do every year, but they have to have the jail school, yes.
Okay. And is there a certain time limit that they have to get that? Is it a year from the time they start?
They got right now they're all online, so they're easy to get
Right.
now than they were in
Okay.
the past.
Okay, that's the only question I had.
I had talked to the chief deputy about this a little bit, possibly you helping us out with the inmate housing fund. I said something like a maximum of 3,000 or something like that. Just a little bit of buy-in from you guys. Is that something are you up for that?
You know, I'm willing to help with anything.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that at all. If you could just give me some figures, we could
Yeah.
go from there.
Yeah, well, we can meet and discuss. But yeah, okay, and that makes me feel better.
Okay. I just don't
Just a and Luke, just a reminder, he did, pay the whole contract
For the
40,000 on the vehicle. So
yeah,
I think that, he's given us a lot. I think, we have to look at that also.
Yeah,
I agree, 100%.
And like I said, I just want to congratulate David again. I know he can hear me in the background, but David is going to be very, very hard to replace. And I would like to congratulate him for one heck of a career that he has done. So we're really going to miss him.
Yes, congrats, David. Thank you for all you've done for the county and our wonderful detention center. Chief Deputy, do you have anything?
I would just say that this is obviously a temporary position to answer and address a temporary issue that we have. This is probably, like the sheriff, I'm just going to echo what he says, this is probably one of his most important appointments. And the explanation letter gave you just the tip of the iceberg of what that person does. But this is a modern day detention center, and it's going to take somebody, I told you, kind of what we're looking for after speaking with the sheriff, and they've got a lot to learn. It's unfortunate, but a lot of us do our day-to-day operations, and it's kind of a checklist in our head. And so the selected candidate's going to have to learn a whole lot in a very short amount of time. This just to this is going to free up some of David's PTO. David's got some paid time off on the books. And we thought it might be a good idea, after discussing that amount of time that he's got, to have a field training opportunity with the new jail commander. Then David could take some PTO time off and then come back. And that would give the new jail commander an opportunity to meet the staff and to do some day-to-day operations, and then come back to David and say, okay, what about this? I don't know, so it's kind of knocking towards with stone, because if we didn't allow David to take PTO during this time, we would have to wait even longer before we could get the jail commander into that particular. So
I'll add too that, if you don't want me to go ahead and name that person, I can. That's not a problem. We're still looking to some different things, but the person we have chose is going to be an asset for our detention center.
Does anyone have any questions for either sheriff or the chief deputy?
Maybe I missed this. What kind of money are we looking at here, approximately?
The approximate is $8,647.50.
Okay.
That'd be, we're asking that they put some money towards it from the inmate housing fund. So not all of that 8,000 would come out of county general. We don't know what exact amount that would be from the inmate housing fund.
Well, unfortunately, you're going to have to figure it out tonight to give an amount if you want me to if we're going to do an additional for April, because otherwise I can't get the additional advertised for April.
Luke, you and I have talked, and like I said, I have no problems at all helping out with the inmate housing.
Right.
At all. So if you want to, if we can settle this now, that would be great.
Okay.
That way everybody knows. I was thinking let's just do this. Well, you tell me what you want.
Wrong thing.
Well, let's see. What do I want? Do I get anything?
Well, I'm usually going to you guys. That's what I want. So I'm gonna ask you.
Can I interject for
go
just
ahead. Yeah.
Pam, you'll notice on the additional that it had an amount set for salary, and then an amount set for Social Security, and an amount set for retirement.
Right.
The one amount that I did not include there, and I should have touched base with you, was for the county's portion of health benefits.
Well, this person won't get health benefits just yet.
Okay, we're talking about a
Not
period of
temporary.
about 10 weeks.
What benefits are you talking about, Eric?
So this position would be considered for 10 weeks. So I didn't know, and that may be very well why we didn't put the health benefits in there to begin with. But this would be a period of 10 weeks. This person would be
Right, but
full.
unless we're putting this on for full-time position at this point, no, it would not receive any health insurance or any benefits until they are actually on full-time.
Well, this time we don't really have a choice. I mean, I think I'd like to look at get that simply because this is somebody coming in to take over a full position. I don't know any other way to do this. So, I mean, we'll be willing to pay, you know what I mean? Whatever amount, and I apologize, you know, I'm just still getting back here and getting back in the saddle a little bit, but with that, do we have any kind of figures, Pam? Can you figure out what the figures will be, including the benefits?
Okay, so let me see if I got this straight. This is going to be temporary right now for like training, but you're actually saying you want to hire him on starting for full-time.
Yes.
Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Okay, so if that's what I'm understanding, then yes, we would be looking at health insurance.
Yes.
Okay. No, I do not have those health insurance amounts right in front of me, but I can find them real fast if you want me to.
Okay. And I apologize for that. And this kind of helped quick, but unfortunately, we really don't have a.
Okay.
I wish we could have more time, but we
Let me
can't.
see what single and family is, okay?
Okay.
It
It would be family also.
even better. I thought I had those numbers somewhere.
And I thought we did too, but when I left the office, we don't think we had those in there, did we, Eric?
No, and if there's been changes from the last numbers that I had, and I think there has been, my numbers are a little dated, so.
But also we've got to remember that this person's going to take that full-time spot. So we'll be losing one. So we're just talking about an amount for the 10 weeks.
For 10 weeks.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Eric, were you unsure about the Social Security and retirement numbers as well? Or are those,
No,
Those
you
are
good on
good.
those? Okay.
I really do. The one thing about the benefits that I didn't know is at the time that the additional was created, we were still kind of waiting on the sheriff to kind of make a decision, and that would then in turn, do they need benefits, and then do they need single benefits or family benefits? So
Gotcha. Okay.
Luke, here's
Yeah.
another question. Should we change that? Because I think the letter and everything says part-time. Shouldn't we get rid of that because we don't offer insurance to part-time employees?
It says assistant jail commander salary is the way the additionals put in.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, we would want to leave it as this position until then he switches over and goes in the jail commander, and then we can switch to pay him out of the other one.
That is
Right.
correct.
Right?
Yes.
So we'll just be setting this up for the assistant part. Let's see, this is March. You wouldn't be hiring him until when? April? Or what day?
May until when?
What day would you be hiring him? Give me just an estimate.
Oh, April 5th.
April 5th, yep.
April 5th?
Yes.
So May 5th, so June. So we would have 7 months of insurance. What do you want me to figure this on, family or single?
I don't think you would ask for 7 months. You're only going to ask for until David retires. See what I'm saying? Am I correct when I say that?
Yes.
You're not going to ask for 7 months. Yeah, you are in a sense. First of all, David does not take out any insurance. Okay, so we don't have to do that. But what I'm saying, he's going to be here for 10 weeks, and then he's going to be all the way in. So I guess you are right in a sense that it would be for the next, but our portion would be the next 10 months or 10 weeks. That makes sense?
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay. Then honestly, it just would come out of the pool that we have in county general under the commissioners. I mean, it's the way we do with any other new employee that comes on. It just comes out of the actual pool that we have under the commissioners. I don't think we'd want to set up a separate insurance line just to try to figure out 10 weeks.
Okay.
What's the rest of the council think?
Sounds
Because
good.
that's the way we would do any other different new employee if it was set up, because we don't ask that department like just to set up a separate line for insurance, because if it's a county employee, it all comes out of the one bucket that's under the commissioner's budget.
This is Mindy, just on the outside looking in. On the agenda, it says motion for intent. So, I mean, if you get the motion for intent, then you can work out all the bugs and stuff for the next meeting and still cover it, right, Pam?
No, that they're doing the motion intent, because if they want to get the money set, we need to do that in April for when they're hiring, or the man's not going to get a paycheck.
Right. So if you do motion of intent, then you can work out the money stuff for the April 22nd meeting and retroactive for April 5th, right? So
not really, because if they're wanting to split this,
I don't want you to jump into a bunch of numbers and be wrong and then have to come back and do it. That's just my thought.
David, what are your thoughts?
I think we need to do it tonight. I think we have it. I agree with what Pam says. It's coming out of the county commissioners. It's not an issue really.
Right. As far as the insurance, I really don't see that as an issue, because if it would be anybody else, they're a county employee, they don't have their separate insurance pot unless he was coming out of lit or something like that. I think it just needs to come out of the bucket that we have under the commissioner's budget. The only thing we have to be concerned is how much are you wanting to do as far as salary from inmate housing. Right. So then I know what to do the rest of the salary toward the county general.
Gotcha.
All right. It's the $8,000 we need to divvy up.
Does anyone have any thoughts on what they want to ask from the inmate housing fund?
I would say 3,000. You had mentioned that.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Are you saying 3,000 for the salary, and then we'll figure the Social Security and the retirement on top of that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so 3,000 just for the salary.
Yep.
Okay.
Alan, is that okay?
Yes, I am fine with that. And I apologize for the heartache here, but this is a different situation, and I apologize.
Okay, so then the rest from county general, then I can work up the additionals. I'll work with Eric and Alan to make sure I've got the numbers right to get the additional, so you guys can see it before your next meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll pay off for the uniforms and everything else out of commissary, so we wouldn't ask for that kind of stuff. So.
Okay, that works.
Luke, are you ready for a motion?
I would love a motion right now.
I will make a motion and intent.
Okay.
I second that.
All right, so we have a motion of intent to fund the Perry County Detention Center jail commander training through the inmate housing fund and the county general fund.
Okay.
With specific amounts to be determined.
Well, I appreciate that very much, and I apologize again, but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, let's take a roll call vote to make sure we don't disappoint Alan. Ballmeister.
Aye.
Bolin. Oh, did he have to leave? Yes, Danny did tell me that he had to leave at 5:45.
Well, it's
so
gonna be close then.
So Pam, can you make the minutes reflect that Danny left? She's probably talking in the minutes.
Yes, I can.
Okay, Achin.
Aye.
Fulkerson,
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye as well. And Williams.
Aye.
All right, motion passes 6-0 to motion of intent on that funding. Okay. Thank you, Sheriff and Chief Deputy.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. All righty. Next on the agenda is Commissioner Randy Cleaving to discuss issues.
Okay. Hey, Luke, can you hear me? I'm
Yes,
just checking
sir.
my mic. Okay. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. And I want to thank you for putting me on the agenda. Really not issues, just some concerns with a little bit with the health department. Actually, I've been hearing a lot of discussion, what you guys have been having in the last probably month to 2 months. So last week I took an opportunity to go out to the health department and just do a walkthrough on the vaccine day. I encourage each and every one of you to do that. Just take a little bit at a time, just walk out there and they'll welcome you through and just see how it's set up. It was truly amazing to me, and I knew it would be, but I was very impressed. What I was impressed with was just the leadership, the professionalism, just everything, and the people coming through the vaccine clinic was so fortunate to have it. And one thing I was impressed with is you see, and I didn't realize that, and you see other employees from other departments stepping up and helping. I want to thank the departments for that. And you see volunteers from the public is putting their own self at risk, coming in health-wise and helping. I think it takes somewhere between 18 to 22 people to run that clinic during the day. I just encourage you to go out. Some of the concerns I got, you addressed it a few minutes ago, Luke, with the overtime. And I think we got a little time here. I'm not sure if that 8,000 is going to be enough. What we're getting from the state, it looks like the clinic will probably be open the rest of the year. There's going to be some overtime there because they're running to 5:30. I still believe we need to listen to like Dr. Markham and on the contact tracing when we do have cases. I know I agree with you, the council, with some of the comments you made. It is slowing down, but it's not stopping yet. It's still out there. And I think as long as it's there, I think contact tracing is very important. As a commissioner, I can't make that call, and I wouldn't want to make that call to stop that. I think that's up to the health department and especially Dr. Markham to do that. That's my opinion there. And I think you would probably agree with me there because we're not professionals on health by no means. The closest one we got would be Erla. And, we lean on her a lot on this too. But I think we need to leave it up to our health department and Dr. Markham. If they say they need to do that, and if it builds some overtime, I think it's our obligation to try to fund that. I hate to go into the next month, then we'll back up against the wall again, trying to fund some overtime. What I would like to do is try to put a little money, and as a commissioner could appropriate it somehow, some way. And I'm going to be asking you what and where is the best place to get a little bit to get us to the end of the year or get us till we're over with this virus. Another issue I think the funding could help, and a concern of mine is the used needles. We didn't think of that before. On a normal year, I say 2019, 2020, prior to the vaccine, the solid waste has given a grant to the health departments for disposal of the used needles. And that's been taking them almost through the year. But could you imagine what they're building up now with the vaccination days? They've got them stored in a closet now. They're going to need some funding to dispose of those. And one thing I noticed too last week when I was there, at noon, they shut the clinic down for cleaning purposes, for sanitation, for a little rest, and for some lunch. Then they start back up at 1 o'clock. they've pulled everything they can pull from every fund they had. The EMA had a donation fund trying to buy lunch. They are asking the restaurants to help donate. And if you remember, Luke, last week at the commissioner meeting, you said you wanted to help the small businesses. And I agree with you 100%. And I think this is a way we can at least help our restaurants a little bit. I think we need to be paying for that lunch for our volunteers that's coming in, for doing the job for Perry County. They're real troopers. Everybody is. Health department, every department's out there they've been battling this for a year now. And their spirits is still high. I'm glad to see that, but they got to be mentally drained. And actually it was before that, because actually Sarah talked to me late January of 2020, maybe early February, before anything even hit Indiana. She said this could be bad. And she was right. So I'm just trying to get some advice here. What do we need to do at the commissioner meeting to shore up a little bit of money? $20,000, $25,000 to go a long ways, and it might put us through the end of the year. And there could be some reimbursement with this new money coming down. We just have to get into it and see what we can use that for. I'm hoping we can use some of that for reimbursement. If we can't, I really don't know if we've spent any of our own money to fight this virus for the people of Perry County. If we can get out of it with $20,000 or $30,000 of our own money, we came out pretty lucky. Especially with the CARES money we received and all the benefits we got from that. I think I'll end the same way I started. I'd like to see you guys just at least go out and look at and go through the health department and see it firsthand. It's really an eye-opening experience to see the dedication we got in our county, and it makes you proud for the people of Perry County to have that. So I'm opening it back, Luke. I'll be on here for any questions, and hope you got some questions. Maybe we can put our heads together and we can beat this virus and we can move on. So help me out, Luke.
Thank you, Randy.
Does anyone have any questions? I don't know off the top of my head, honestly. I had to do some thinking on it, exactly where this could come from. David, anyone have any?
I was just thinking, surely this ARP funds, would some of that be available for funding overtime?
Yeah, I believe so.
And Luke, there could be something else that I'm missing that pops up. That's where a little account would be nice. I know we would have to go through the council on anything extra than what I just mentioned, but I just think they need to help us through this, because I don't want them seem to ask the restaurants for donations. I mean, we need to be helping our restaurants, and this would be a good way to do that. And we have to get rid of the needles somehow, some way. And that could be reimbursed. I don't see why it couldn't be down the road, but we just need a little, I call cash, to get us through this hump. And I'm concerned we got $8,000 back now. Wait, what you said earlier, that should put us through April into May. Then we're going to be looking for probably more money, else this virus completely just drops off the county level. But I don't think it's going to, because we just lost a neighbor out here last week from it. So it's there, and it's scary yet. So what about the general fund, Luke? I know Pam at the last meeting, the meeting before, we asked her how much carryover from last year. You had a pretty good amount of carryover. Is there anything there? I think she mentioned about 800,000 or a little above from the cash balance. And I think you mentioned a little bit too at the workshop on that. So
Yeah, well, just kind of to address that point, we really don't have $850,000 because that doesn't account for the budget and then circuit breaker losses. We started with the year with 850,000, but after everything's adjusted, it's about $530,000 in the general fund. But I mean, there is money there, but I don't want to commit to any specific fund tonight. But I mean, if it's needed, we're gonna have to find money for it somehow.
Yes.
But I just don't know.
Okay, what do you suggest? I'd like to do something at the next commissioner meeting. I'd like to have it on the agenda, then we can, we can brainstorm from now to then and see if we can figure out something. But I really think we're going to have to. I think we owe that to the people to get us through this. So.
And are you thinking of needle disposal and, buying lunches? Is that what you're?
Yes,
and
I would like to see a little funds put into place for overtime in case we need it. Because, way the meetings work, it's once a month for the council, and we could get behind on that really quick by the time legally we do our appropriations and pass it on to you guys as a council. I'd like to be one step ahead of that game before that happens. So,
on that, I would say let's wait another month and see how. And then, because the whole reason why we appointed a set amount of overtime is because the personnel policy says that if overtime isn't appropriated, then you earn comp time. So we appropriated overtime money so they could earn it. So that's why but we thought the 10,000 would get us through. It obviously may not. So I would like to see another month go by and see how much that takes out. And if we need to go back and give more overtime money, we can. But I mean, so I hope we don't spend $8,000 in a single month. But
no, but way Pam said, it looked like this last week was what, $1,200 in overtime,
right,
from all the employees. So if that continues, that eat that 8,000 up pretty quick. You take 6 weeks, will pretty well limit that. So I'm just trying to get ahead of it, Luke. So that's the only thing I'm telling you.
Does anyone have any thoughts? Because off the top of my head, I really don't know. Charlie, Erlen, anyone? Paul, you got anything?
Just listening.
Hey Luke, I would like to have a discussion on the meals, because I think that's very important. And that really makes us look bad as a county if we can't do that. Especially for the volunteers that's taken time off of their day to come in all day. And I think that's just the right thing to do. That's the only thing I could say. And with the needles, we can probably store those until we get something, but I still say we're going to have to dispose of those somehow, and then maybe we hope to get reimbursed for them. So,
yeah. Well, I didn't really know about, I didn't know the meals were happening and to that great of extent. I didn't know that was a problem. But I mean, if the commissioners feel like we need to pay for them, then I mean, we can certainly entertain that. But I really don't have an answer for you tonight, because I didn't really know.
Yeah, and I don't know how the other commissioners feel on that. This is just Randy Cleaving talking here. So, and I'll bring this same thing up and we'll discuss at the commissioners meeting. If any of them's on, I think Greg is. I don't know if Tom is, but I don't know. Get their thoughts on it here too.
No,
so.
I've been out there too. I've seen it in operation, and it's pretty impressive what they got going. And they reconfigured it 2 or 3 times because they kept getting more shots, and they wanted to be able to consume all the shots that they were getting. So that's pretty impressive too, that they were innovative enough to change the path that they were on so that they could get more shots going through. And to your point, that lunch is a minor thing to offer somebody that, like you said, is given 8 hours of the day to do this, actually 9 hours of the day to do this, and then also taking the risk, because there is a risk in doing it. So we appreciate that. And so I think it's a pretty simple, easy thing to do for them. And I know it costs money, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to what they're giving us. So.
And one other thing too, Luke, I forgot to mention that the state is looking like maybe weekend vaccination clinics throughout the counties through the state of Indiana. So if that happens, we can address the overtime at that time too, and that'll be like on a Saturday or something like that to help accommodate the individuals that's working outside the county and stuff like that. So,
right.
But we don't know yet. That's just some news maybe coming down from the state. So we'll fill you in a little bit more if that does happen. So.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to add, I agree with the meals. I think that we should do that maybe an immediate thing. The overtime, I'm hoping we get guidance on this new Relief Act money coming in, and maybe that will be our savior on that. So that's my thoughts on that.
Well, anyone from the council have any input?
I agree about the meals. How many people volunteers for that?
Roughly, probably outside of our county employees, probably 8 to 12
Yeah,
individuals.
that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it varies day by day, but I was out there again yesterday. I actually got my vaccine yesterday, and you just see people I didn't even know they're helping. So, there's several of them around, making sure everybody's okay once they set their 15 minutes, and they got their job to do, and they're doing a great job at it. And we as a county really appreciate it. So
this is Sheriff Malone. I know that this week we did around 30 volunteers on Wednesday, about 25 to 30.
okay, see, I did not know that, Alan. So that's more number than I thought it was. So
Me too. That surprises me. But I hate to use the word assembly line, but Alan, I think that's probably a good description of what it is. They come in, they register, they walk to where they get their shots, they walk to where they stay. I mean, they've got the pattern down, but they need the people to do that. They have to have the people in order to make that happen.
I mean, usually about two different shifts too. So they're coming and going.
yeah, and you gotta realize too, it's just not 1 day or 2 days or 3 weeks. We're looking at a long-term project here, maybe the rest of the year. So until what they do with this.
Yeah.
And Randy, I don't want to. I hate to think the health department doesn't think that we appreciate all they've done. I know we look at the numbers, we look at the money part of it, and knowing that with this COVID, how our tax dollars are going to be limited. We look at that bottom line, but I know I do greatly appreciate everything they've been doing, and I don't want them to think that we don't, because we do.
Yeah, I realize that, Erla. I think this is Erla, wasn't it?
Lynn.
That was
Glenn, okay, yeah,
Lynn.
Glenn, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just doing your job. That's your job as a council member, to oversee our finances and make sure we're where we need to be. So I appreciate that, everything the council actually works on and helps us out. But this just came to my attention in the last week or so, and I've been hearing a lot of conversation about it. I felt like I needed to address it. And this is just Randy Cleaving as commissioner, and I just wanted to address it tonight. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Randy.
Yeah. I'm just not 100% sure. But we can discuss it. We'll figure something out, because if it needs to be done, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
So,
and like going forward, look like next week, can we get some kind of bill and start looking at the meals for sure?
yeah, because that's kind of what I was wondering. How much? I mean, what exactly are we getting? How much does it cost? How many?
That would be probably a question for Sarah or Steve or whoever orders the food. But they do like to move around restaurant to restaurant, and that's what they would do. So I don't think it would be very much, but it adds up every week, and I think I don't know if it's next week or the week after, they're going to have 2 days. The state's going to push more vaccines down to them, and they're going to have a 2-day clinic. So instead of 1 day. So.
Okay. Well, we'll figure something out.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Pam.
Once you guys kind of can get an amount, what it's going to cost for each day, let me know, because I've been looking at some of the funds already. I might possibly have some suggestions that if you want to look at them to see if that would work.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Pam.
Hey, Pam, this is Randy. Could we have some of that information at our commissioner meeting, and then we can maybe send it back to the council at that time?
I would think so.
Okay. Would that work, Luke?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's put that on the agenda. I'll have Teresa too, and then we'll try to work on it as a commissioner, all three of us, and get some kind of better idea by then. So.
Okay, can I ask that if you will call Teresa, put that on the agenda, because I hope you all got my notice. I'm on vacation tomorrow and all next week.
Okay, yeah, I can call her, or me or Tom will call her. So.
And I will talk to Luke, and maybe I'll even talk to you, Randy, yet. And I'm going to be home, so I'll call you with kind of the ideals I got and see what you guys think of it and see if that's where you want to look.
Okay, great. That's
Okay.
fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
All righty. Next item on the agenda is discussion on the allocation of CARES Act funds. I just kind of want to put this on the agenda for a final discussion if any members of the council feel they need to address this. I know I do. Does anyone else have anything they want to say on this topic?
I do.
The floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. Tom and I had talked earlier, and I'm a little concerned about some of the comments that were made at the last commissioners meeting. We're all elected officials. We work for the people of this county. We're not always going to agree with one another. When I looked at the CARES Act money, the way it was spent, there were some very good things that were purchased and some other things that I have questions about, but that being me as an individual. You guys had control of that. You did the best you can. I have no problem with that. My biggest problem I have is, for some reason, every time, and I'm going to use myself as an example, I ask a question in a department and everybody gets so defensive. It's like that we're accusing people and we're not. I'm trying to get information so I can make the best decision. And I hope, all the council and the commissioners do the same thing. And I really get irritated by hearing departments saying, well, he's causing problems. I'm not causing problems. I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I need to ask questions. And as long as I'm on this board, I'm going to continue to ask questions. And that's all I have to say on it.
Okay. Well, this is a council discussion, so just letting everyone know that. Does anyone else have anything to say before I go do a spiel? No? Okay, so I have prepared a written statement. I'm going to read it, and I'm hoping we can put this behind us, but I'm going to lay out everything that I have to say, and hopefully we can move on. All right, so over the past few months, members of this body, including myself, have raised questions and concerns regarding the allocation of Perry County's CARES Act funds, which totaled over $680,000. At last week's commissioners meeting, Commissioner Hauser took time to discuss, in part, many of the expenditures made with these funds over the past year. At one point, Commissioner Cleaving stated that he hoped that I would have time to speak on my criticism of how these funds were utilized. But because I was attending the meeting on behalf of my employer, I stated that I would address his comments at our next council meeting. So I will take this time now to fully explain my criticism and set the record straight. First, I must address the muddied waters regarding where the CARES Act money came from and which state level entities were involved. When the CARES Act was signed into law, Indiana was sent $2.4 billion to assist in covering the cost of the response to the coronavirus pandemic. Of that $2.4 billion, the state allocated $300 million to distribute to counties, cities, and towns to assist in covering the cost that local government had incurred from the pandemic. This was to be done through a reimbursement process in which Perry County would be eligible to receive up to $619,741 in reimbursement. Later in 2020, Governor Holcomb announced an additional $20 million in funding for counties, cities, and towns in order to support the public awareness, education, and compliance with his executive orders. Perry County received an additional $61,975. All of these funds were administered by the Indiana Finance Authority. The Indiana Finance Authority was the only entity who oversaw the over $680,000 Perry County received. And it was the Indiana Finance Authority who put out detailed guidance on how these funds could be utilized and what expenditures could be reimbursed. I state this because on multiple occasions, the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA have been mentioned in connection to these funds. Neither of these entities had any administrative responsibilities over the Perry County's CARES Act funds. Secondly, I must discuss what the IFA guidance stated in regard to what expenses were eligible for reimbursement and what expenditures Perry County made. The initial guidance from the IFA on eligible reimbursement expenses stated in part that the IFA may only reimburse expenditures used to cover costs that are 1, necessary expenditures incurred due to the public health emergency with respect to COVID-19. 2, were not accounted for in the budget most recently adopted as of March 27th. 3, were incurred during the period that begins on March 1st, 2020 and ends on December 30th, 2020. And 4, the expenditure is allowed under the guidance issued by the U.S. Treasury as modified by the state of Indiana. It's important to know that the IFA guidance was modified at least 2 times throughout the year. One example of such modification has to do with small businesses. The IFA's initial guidance stated that units of government could support small businesses by providing them funds to cover the cost of PPE. However, the IFA later modified that guidance to allow for the provisions of grants to small businesses to cope with the interruptions caused by the mandated shutdowns. Unlike what has been said previously, the county could have used CARE funds to provide grants to small businesses in some shape or form. As noted, the initial IFA guidance allowed for such and was later modified to allow units of government to offer more support to our vital small businesses. Not only did the commissioners choose not to support our small businesses with these funds, but they also chose not to apply for the first two rounds of the OKRA COVID-19 response grants. However, and thankfully, we have applied for the 3rd round of COVID-19 response grants, and I hope we get rewarded. In short, when the commissioners had the previous chances to help small businesses, they decided not to. But what did the commissioners decide to spend money on instead? Instead, they purchased a Suburban for the EMA. I wondered, was this a necessary expenditure incurred due to the public health emergency? The justification letter for this purchase stated that the vehicle would be used to tow the logistics trailer that contains PPE supplies and disaster equipment. Instead, they purchased a truck for the EMA. I wondered, was this a necessary expenditure incurred due to the public health emergency? The justification letter stated that the vehicle would be used to tow a trailer that contained PPE supplies and disaster equipment. Instead, they purchased a truck for the sheriff's office. I wondered, was this a necessary expenditure incurred due to the public health emergency? The justification letter stated that it was to be used for the protection of officers during the transport of suspected or confirmed COVID-19 offenders. It also said that it would be used to tow the trailers of the health department and the EMA. Commissioner Hauser stated that although some purchases were made noting the use by EMA so they would be eligible for reimbursement, they would be utilized by other departments. Accordingly, doing this would relieve the general fund of future purchases. But that was not the purpose of these funds. The purpose of these funds was to reimburse necessary expenditures incurred due to the pandemic, not to relieve the general fund from possible future expenditures. In total, the cost of these vehicles, equipment, and installation was over $137,000. Again, the commissioners could have supported small businesses or even reimbursed the cost of our health employees and public safety employees' salaries. But instead, they chose to indirectly revert funds for the purchase of vehicles, which, by the way, were purchased before the entire courthouse was equipped with remote work capabilities. Instead, they purchased a 16 kilowatt backup generator for the Armory Annex storage building. The justification letter stated that the county planned to use this building for a drive-up COVID-19 pre-screening site and as a test site. However, that $10,000 invoice was dated at least 2 weeks after the county health board, for various good reasons, chose not to pursue a grant to run a testing site. However, now the storage building has a backup power supply. What did they choose to do with the $61,975 to fund the public awareness of the governor's executive orders? They purchased $28,000 in iMacs and iPads, spent $5,000 to upgrade the Armory Annex video conferencing system, spent $3,000 on an audio speaker system at the Armory Annex, spent $1,200 on a new desktop computer at the Armory Annex, spent $1,000 to upgrade the Wi-Fi at the Armory Annex, and spent $1,400 on computer monitors for the Armory Annex. I ask, how did these purchases support the public's awareness, education, and compliance with the governor's executive orders? I am not aware of a single actual public awareness campaign undertaken with these funds besides the purchase of a $21,000 sign that sits in the Armory Annex parking lot. I ask, how did these purchases help the residents of the county like has been claimed? But even if the numbers and what purchased doesn't matter, but the process does, like Commissioner Hauser stated, then the process is worth discussing as well. As I've stated before, the commissioners had full control over the CARES Act funds and their disbursement. They did not have to consult the council before expending the money. However, Commissioner Hauser did come before the council at our July 23rd, 2020 meeting to inform us that the commissioners were seeking pre-approval on a couple of big purchases. At one point, near the end of 2020, I sought an update on how the CARES Act funds had been spent and was directed to contact EMA Director Hauser. I am also aware that members of the public were told to contact Director Hauser because he had all the information. That puzzled me because the commissioners were tasked with overseeing the expenditure of these funds. Regardless, before I received the requested information, I got a phone call asking me why I wanted the information. When I gave my justification, which I shouldn't have had to have done as an elected member of the county's fiscal body, I was told not to share this information with the public because I might take it out of context. I regret doing so. I fear that if members of this body had not raised questions and concerns over the past couple of months regarding the handling of these funds, then none of this would be being publicly discussed as it is now. I stand by my criticism of certain purchases and the processes made behind them. This criticism is not coming from a place of malice, but from a place of concern and a desire for the best stewardship of the public's money. This is even more important as we prepare to receive over $3.7 million from the American Rescue Plan. I am glad that the commissioners now believe that the number one priority regarding the expenditure of the American Rescue Plan funds should be transparency and openness, and that the public is aware of what is happening. Transparency should always be the first priority of government. Along that same line, I will provide an unofficial list of expenditures from the CARES Act to the public via my county councilman Facebook page. Additionally, I will reiterate my earlier statement that a committee should be formed to develop a plan on how the ARP funds will be spent. Because the council must appropriate these funds, we must actively be involved. I have nothing else to say about this topic, and I look forward to developing a plan for the expenditures of the ARP funds. And that is my written statement, and unless I have comments from the council, I will not take any right now. So does any other council members have anything to say before we move on?
That was well said, Luke.
Thank you. All right, item number 11, making a formal statement on stipend that was budgeted to additional compensation to employees. This had popped up earlier this month. I think we approved a stipend. Well, we called it a stipend, but it really wasn't technically a stipend. It was more of a bonus. So Pam was just kind of asking for clarification on that from us. So I think in all the budgets, it's identified as a stipend, but I think we need to change it to a bonus because all of our employees are eligible to earn income. So I think we need to we just need to change the name to bonus. Pam, is that kind of along the right lines? Okay.
Yes, because as far as with the stipend rules, there are certain things about it that is not what I think your intention was.
Right.
And that's what was brought to my attention. So
that's what I kind of thought. And I didn't really even think about that word being an issue, but after I looked into it, I was like, oh, well, our employees are eligible to receive income. So it does make sense that it should be called a bonus or additional income at least.
It was a bonus.
Yeah. So I would entertain a motion to change that line item name and all those applicable funds and budgets.
I will make that motion to change the stipend bonus.
And I will second.
Any other discussion on that?
No.
Okay, so you're changing it to the name of bonus then?
Yeah, that's going to be the motion.
Okay,
To change.
David, Charlie?
We haven't taken a vote yet.
Oh, no, but that first and second already,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Is there any discussion? If not, I will call roll call. Ballmeister.
Aye.
Danny's not here. Aitchen.
Aye.
Fulkerson.
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye as well. And Williams.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 6-0 to change that line item from stipend to bonus. Okay. Next on the agenda is miscellaneous, and I've got something under there as well. During the meeting, Alvin emailed me and said that if we wait to set a date after the bond, after the RDC meets, then everything will be out of whack. So do we want to just schedule a possible meeting for that same week? So I'm looking at, do we just want to do it Thursday, same time, or?
We can do it right after they meet.
So that'd be April 12th is when you guys are meeting?
Yes.
What time is your meeting?
Normally around 3.
So do we want to do the 12th?
Yeah, but the last one, David, was at 4 because of school, because if Chris continues to have him at the school, he can't do it at 3.
Okay.
And this has to be a public hearing, I believe. So we need to be able, the public needs to be able to be, so we need to be in person, I guess, right?
Well, I'm sure the school would allow you to have your meeting right after theirs in the same venue.
Okay. do we
I mean,
want
I
to?
don't, I'm not talking for the school. I'm no longer on the board, but pretty good certainty that they do that for us.
Okay. So maybe like, I don't know, we don't know how long that meeting's gonna last. I don't know, because it's gotta be a public hearing as well. So do we want to shoot for like April 12th at 6 o'clock at the Tell City High School auditorium? Erla, I'm guessing you're probably working that day. Do you know yet?
I think I might be on vacation, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. But I think we can get, we just have to have 4 people there for a quorum. So do we think we can get enough people for April 12th at Tell City Junior Senior High School auditorium at 6 o'clock?
I think I should be able to make it.
I should be able to.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
Okay. Well, we'll make Danny go. Okay, so let's set a date, April 12th at 6 p.m. At the Tell City Junior Senior High School auditorium. And this is a public hearing, I believe, Pam. So I don't know what the advertisement needs to say exactly.
I'm not sure either. Rod, either I'll get with Rod and see what we need to do, because I'm gonna have to figure out when it's gonna get advertised, because I'm on vacation next week too. So I'm gonna have to relay this to my first deputy to do.
Okay, because I'm thinking we could just kind of, the RDC had to advertise this, so it's kind of this. It's going to be the same meeting they have basically regarding the public hearing at least.
Okay. I might even be able to, maybe even between Rod and Alvin, they can help me to figure out what I need to get in it real quick, and so Susan can get it advertised.
Okay.
I will do that with you.
Thank you.
And then
not to interrupt, Luke,
go
but
ahead.
John just replied to me and he said that was all right.
Okay, well, perfect. All right, so we're going to shoot council for April 12th at 6 p.m. for a special public hearing on that bond approval, depending on what the RDC decides to do. So April 12th at 6 p.m., Tell City Junior Senior High School auditorium. So that takes care of that. And then Rod, I'm going to send you that letter of engagement from WIS Consultants for you to look over before we sign it off.
Okay, and I'll get back with you.
Okay. Pam, you said you had some stuff
Me?
under miscellaneous, or am I crazy?
Well, I'm not going to say you're crazy, but I said I left the word miscellaneous.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. The AIC is having their district meeting coming up. Do we need to go through Teresa to schedule that?
You do. Yes,
Okay.
you do. Do you know when it is? On May the 12th.
Okay.
And I've got it. It's on May the 12th, and it will be at the Huntingburg Event Center again, where it has been the last few years. Registration will start at 4:30 our time, and then they'll have the essay winner, and dinner will start at 5:15 our time.
Okay.
Okay, and then they'll have election of officers and then the legislative updates.
Okay. Thanks for that info.
Yep.
All right. If no one has anything, I could entertain a motion to adjourn.
So made.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll take a roll call vote on adjournment. Baumeister.
Aye.
Aitchen.
Aye.
Fulkerson.
Aye.
Malone.
Aye.
I will vote aye. And Williams.
Aye.
All right. Meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for your input and attention. Pam, thanks for learning this new system for us and making this happen.
Yeah, it actually worked. So I'm happy.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you, guys.